Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video on solving polynomial equations. So by the end of this, I should be able to give you a polynomial equation. You use the factor theorem to find one solution, and then polynomial long division to find the other solutions. So let's look at an example. So we will go ahead and solve this equation here. So we need one side equal to 0, and the plan of the attack is we will factorize this polynomial and then use the null factor law. So let's call the polynomial fx. To find the first solution, we use the factor theorem. So remember, what we do is we try positive and negative factors of this constant term and see whether they make the polynomial equal to 0. So we're going to try positive and negative factors of 12. Now, there are quite a few. Let's try, for example, f of 2. If I substitute x for 2, I get this. And it turns out this will make the polynomial equal 0. So that means x minus 2 is a factor. So we have one solution and one factor. Now, we could use the factor theorem and try other factors of 12. The problem is that there are quite a few when you consider positive and negative factors, and there's no guarantee we'll actually find another solution. There may not even be another solution. So instead of using trial and error, once we've got this factor, we can use polynomial long division to find the other solutions. So we're calculating this into this. I have a video on long division you might want to look at because I'm going to go through this one quickly. So we start off by saying how many times does leading term go into leading term? How many times does x go into x cubed? And that is, of course, x squared. So now we multiply x squared by x minus 2. We get x cubed minus 2x squared. So we calculate the remainder here by subtracting. 3x squared minus 2x squared just gives us 5x squared. So whenever we've got the remainder, we divide by the leading term. 5x squared divided by x is 5x. Now we bring down the next term, and then we multiply this by x minus 2. So 5x times x, and then 5x times minus 2. Once again, we subtract to find the remainder. Minus 4x minus 10x gives us positive 6x. Whenever we've got a remainder, we divide by the leading term. 6x divided by x is just 6. Now we're just going to check that we get a 0 remainder overall. So bring down the minus 12, and 6 times x minus 2 also gives us 6x minus 12. So when we subtract, we get a 0 remainder. And that's important that we got a 0 here for the remainder because we know that this is a factor. So there should be 0 remainder when I divide this by this. So what we found is that fx, this polynomial here, this cubic, can be written as x minus 2 times this quadratic. So that's made things a lot simpler because we know how to factorize quadratics like this or how to solve them. So this is a quadratic trinomial that's monic, so we just need to find two numbers that times to 6 and add to 5. Of course, they are positive 3 and positive 2. So we can write f of x like this. So now we've fully factorized this polynomial. We've split it into 3 linear factors. So to solve fx equals 0, we just use the null factor law. Either the first bracket equals 0, or the second bracket equals 0, or the third bracket equals 0. They are the 3 solutions. It's a cubic, so it will never have more than 3 solutions, and we're done. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.